thanks for coming on the pod, man. The pod is very chill. It's just in the title, basically. We let it go wherever it wants to go. And the last time I seen you was at, I gave you that award. Was it?
Yeah, Women in Film and
last
TV.
year.
Was that last 2020?
September-ish.
No, it was December.
Was it December
Because I
last
literally
year?
had to run from there to go on stage.
Oh, yes.
So it was definitely
yeah.
2023.
Yeah, congrats, man.
Yeah, it was the end. Thank
Women
you.
in Television Award.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, man. There's some big hitters in that room, you know.
It was crazy. To be
Yeah,
honest,
man.
you were a big hitter. I was like, wait, Mo's gonna do it? Because I had some names and they were like, yeah, give us some names. And I thought it had to be women, so I was giving these names. So like, oh, don't worry, Mo Gilligan's gonna do it. So I was like, they shot me all your names out of the wall. I'm like, okay.
Oh, appreciate that, man.
Thank you for that.
But like, your career is interesting because even just like researching about you, I didn't know you went to university in Edinburgh. Is it in Edinburgh?
In
right?
Edinburgh.
What was that
yeah.
like? Because obviously my experience of Edinburgh is the Fringe Festival,
Yeah.
and it's a different. I know Edinburgh the Fringe is different to living there. So what was that like for you?
I left Edinburgh every Fringe, so everyone was coming in. I was like, bye, I'm going back to London. I stayed here for the Fringe. But it's such a beautiful city. And sort of looking back on it older now, I can sort of I'm appreciative of my time there. It was beautiful. It was nice. I think I was like the first time I'd really left London for a certain amount of time. And I grew up in the ends, East London, and so it was a culture shock.
Were you from Dagenham?
I'm sorry.
I thought you was from Dagenham.
I'm sorry. I said East London. I didn't say Essex. I'm from Newham, but anyway.
It's next door, slightly.
No, it's not. Well, I'm sorry. If your postcode doesn't have N-E-S or W, you don't live in London. And I mean that to the Croydon Massive too. I'm sorry. What's CR? No.
It's funny you say that because I moved to that side of East London, innit? So you see, for me in South, it just felt like it was all the same, innit? So I moved to I was near Canary Wharf side, innit?
Yeah.
So I am in, what was my borough? I'm in the borough of Newham, I think I was.
You were in Newham?
Was I in Tower Hamlets?
Where? So Canary Wharf is Tower Hamlets?
No, actually, was I? I don't know what borough I was in, you know? I might have been Tower Hamlets. That might have been the
know
borough.
What borough you live in?
No, because I didn't. You know, when I moved, I didn't know the area at all. I'm not. I was only there for 2.5 years, innit?
I don't care. You should know what borough you live in.
But at the same time, it's I know the area, but I don't. So my whole geography of the area, you know, when people are like, no, Isle of Dogs is different to Canary Wharf, and I'm for me, it all looked the same, you know. So I'm like, yo, I live in Canary Wharf, and man, I'm like, yeah, that side is Isle of Dogs still. I think you're in Isle of Dogs, you know?
You're in Isle of Dogs.
Nah, bro, I'm in Canary Wharf.
You're not. You're in Isle of Dogs. You're near the Asda. Sorry.
Going back. So Edinburgh, how was Edinburgh for you? Studying and stuff?
It was, yeah. So going from East London, where I could just roll out, get my cocoa butter, get my plantain, do all that. And at the time I was there, I'd never been around. I'd never been that much of a minority in my life. I'd never, you know what I mean? I grew up in neighborhoods where people were brown and black, and so I never really. I went to college. I went to college in Havering, so I definitely had a diverse group of friends and people from all backgrounds. But I was the only black person in my year, and I think the year above me there was no one black, and the year below me there was no one black. And so I was like, and it was, we weren't using terms like microaggressions back then, but I was like,
just as old school, they're racist.
Yeah, it was. And not even just micro. There was not micro racing. There was racism. I remember being called a black beat on the bus, just walking, and I remember getting a stick and chasing the people who called. I was.
You know what's mad that you say that is that because I remember back in the day, it's now luckily enough we have camera phones so people can see it.
Yes.
But back in the day, you would tell this to someone and go, no way that happened.
Awful.
And you're like, I remember once I was 13 years old, standing at Denmark Hill train station. This guy was on the other platform, just shouting race. It was, when it's so racist, I'm like,
jeez.
I'm like, yo, I'm 13. Can someone have my back here?
Yes.
This guy was, go back home. And I was like, bro, what? And I never forget. I got on the train and I just gave him the middle finger, innit? I was back, gave him middle finger. I never forget, this woman looked at me and she was like, well done. And I was like, where the fuck was you, man?
Well done.
I needed you on the platform, man. Oh, man.
Yeah, I had, I was with 3 of my friends as well from drama school when that happened. And it was like 10 youths and they just wouldn't let me pass. They were like pretending they couldn't see me. And I was like, excuse me, can you move, please? After like 5 times of saying it. And they were like, oh, sorry, we didn't see you there. And then as I walked past, he yelled.
Yeah.
And I just turned back and I just saw red. And I just saw... So my experience was interesting in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things, you know, when you talk about the black nod, when you're like, you see someone like, it really was. I was like, oh my God, there's another one. Hi, hello, black sir, ma'am.
Hey, the black nod is so international, isn't it?
So international.
You can be in the most remote part of the world and see another black person. I done it in Japan. And I was like, oh, God, man. And he was like, you see it? I was like,
yes. Oh gosh. So it was a bit, and I think it was the first, no, I think code switching was probably a thing, but I really realised I need to take some of the ends out, some of the bass out of my voice.
Yeah, man.
And even when I did that, I mean, there were times when there was a whole period where they were accusing people. There were a lot of people doing drugs and things like that at drama school, and it got around, and I remember this. I've never done an illegal substance in my life, and I'll never forget this teacher looking straight at me in a room, going, if we hear that you've been doing drugs, you're out of here. And I was like, who are you talking to? Do you mean me? No, we just mean everyone. Oh, you're talking to me. If you got a question, ask me. So there's a lot of that kind of nonsense, but I'm so grateful for the experience because honestly, like I learned a lot, and even that stuff kind of set me up in a way to know how to move through this industry and through this business, and it's definitely gotten better. You know, I'm not having random people like at drama school going, "Hey, you got any weed?" Score like I wouldn't even know where to begin, madam. But yeah, I'm glad I went. Beautiful place, and I wouldn't not do it again, even with all that, you know. And I made some great friends and had a laugh, and it was good to be out of London. So yeah.
I think that's so important when you're studying and you're young, just to get a taste of being outside of your surroundings. I feel like it helps you focus more. I done it a little bit for college and a bit for university and I wasn't very far from where I was living, but at the same time I was like, oh, bro, this is different surroundings. People queue up for the buses around here. Do you know what I mean?
They say thank you, driver.
Yeah, small things like that, man. And then you set up your own drama company as well.
Yeah,
for young people around that time as well. What made you want to do that?
It's an organisation called Faith Drama Productions, which we've kind of gone dormant, but it doesn't not exist. We're in a sort of transitional period. But I set this up, I think, before I went to drama school, really. But it sort of started up as a sort of drama youth group in my church, because I saw, actually no, it was just after I came back from uni, and I saw a lot of young people who were just uncomfortable in their own skin. And I remember coming out of drama school with all the stuff I just said, feeling like I had tools to at least pretend I was confident, right? And we played drama games a lot. And there's something about a drama game that can get you laughing, get you sort of breaking the touch barrier in a way that feels safe and all that. And I wanted to just do drama games with these young kids from ends who were just like, you know, too shy to even look you in the eye when you talk to them.
Yeah.
So we started up this sort of drama group in the youth church, and then by the summer they were so like glowing that I was like, let's put on a play. Should we do a play? Let's do a play. And I wrote something, packed out this space in the basement of our church, like an overflow. And after that, I think some of the guys are like, I think should we do this every year? Should we do something? And then eventually I wanted to kind of bring it out of the four walls of the church and be, Faith Drama was born, and we'd sort of been doing productions nationally. We've been as far as Birmingham. We've done national tours. We've produced amazing pieces. We've done short films. It's the stuff even though it was me just hustling, trying to scramble money from the Arts Council, wherever, that was, I didn't realise was my training for writing comedy. I didn't even realise I was writing comedy. Do you know what I mean? That was the base ground, doing that just because we had to do a play every summer. We had to get plays on. I know I can't afford to get anyone else to write it, so I guess I'll write it and direct it and produce it. So that was my film school, as it were, you know?
Ain't it so nice when you start working like with young people, and especially when you see like their creativeness come out in ways that they're not able to express in sometimes school or around their friends. When you look at someone, you're like, wow, that person is very good at acting. And some people don't even know it. All it takes for you is to say to them, hey man, like, you should take this serious, man. And you know, that is, I think it's one of the coolest things you get to witness of the space we get to a company where you're like,
there are
you see
people now that were in that collective of young people who are now in the business, artists, and I'm like that proud mum going, yes, I see you. I told you were really good at that, you know. And so that makes it makes my heart swell. And I actually really, that's a thing I'm craving. I sort of miss that, you know, the more I kind of am working in different spaces and, you know, with more suits, for want of a better word, I kind of just miss the scrappiness of working with young people. And you know what? Someone did that for me when I was young and wanting, as a Nigerian kid who, there was no outlet in a Nigerian diasporan home to do drama. So, you know, I had a teacher and someone who sort of was like, you're really good. You should... you know, you should go here, you should join the National Youth Theatre, you should do these things. And that made me, you know, that gave me the confidence to do that. So someone did it for me. So it was nice to be able to do that.
How did your parents react, like, when you said you wanted to do drama? Because you kind of said it a little bit there, but what was your parents' reaction?
My dad raised me, and he, bless him, I think it was not very easy for him as a man of a certain generation, raising a girl alone. And then also raising a girl who wanted to act. It was I think unfathomable. My dad's very smart, PhD, proper, like, education is king. You know, I literally was talking to him the other day and I was trying to do maths. I was so bad at maths. And I remember it being a bone of contention in our relationship. Like, are you dumb? This is the, you know. So I was doing a sum and I went, is it? I think I was converting Naira to pounds, and I was like, is it? And he even on the phone, he went, Gbemisola, still? I said, Dad, I said, I'm an actor now, okay? You can't, let's not go there. So, he was not, he at one point forbid me from doing anything drama related, anything acting.
Because I know in the Nigerian household, from a lot of my friends, it's normally an accountant, lawyer, doctor,
disgrace
engineer.
To the family.
Yeah. So your dad, so what, he forbid you for doing acting?
Yeah, I think he thought I would grow out of it and but then I think when he was seeing that my maths, I wasn't doing great in maths, and I was all right in science but not great, and I think he was just like, maths and science and English, those are the subjects that are going to get you ahead. And there was only one way. It was like education, that's the way forward, and it has to be these kind of, you know, these STEM subjects that will get you there. So arts for him was just a nonsense. And so when I was doing it, I actually lied about all the subjects. I told him, I'm doing double maths, double science. So he thought I was doing... I was not. I was doing drama. I was doing expressive arts. I was doing all the arts subjects. So I had to be really secretive. It was a real bone of contention with growing up, and kind of cool looking back at it, that I kind of stuck to my guns, and you know, my dad was terrifying growing up, and I sort of there was something, that's why I feel like it's a calling, not just a gig, that I'm like a job, because as a kid I just was like, no, this is and I had no frame of reference. I had no people to, you know, who were telling me, oh, I want to be like this actor or that. I didn't really have that. So the fact that it was just in me, and I was so defiant that, or maybe I was just stubborn, maybe my dad said no and I just was like, yeah, I want to do it because he said no. But I was really committed. So, but now my dad is like, at one time it was a fun. I think it was the closest I got to an apology. It was like, "You always knew, didn't you?" And I'm like, "Yes, Dad, I did." He goes, okay. So,
how did your dad react in 2015 when you got like the call up to do Sunny D on 2015? Because that was like one of your kind of breakthrough.
yeah,
That's the first time I had witnessed you on screen. So how did your dad react to that?
I don't think I told him. I didn't know what Sunny D was. I didn't really know it was the beginning or something. You know, it's one of these things now I can look back and go, that was my introduction to comedy. Before that I was very serious and thespian, and I was going to tread the boards forever, and I was going to do dark, stuff. And doing Sunny D, I get told, "You're a natural. You're really good at this," and that's when I met Akemji Defonyen.
He was saying that. He said that. He's on the pod recently as well.
So I met him doing that, and he basically changed my life. And so it was one of those things it wasn't a thing. It was another job that I got as an actor, and I don't really tell my dad of all the jobs I get, so I didn't think I told him about it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, looking back now, I'm like, that was the sort of the catalyst that started off a chain of events. That's kind of.
How was it being on there?
Amazing. I loved it. To laugh every day on set is a thing that's lost on me. But I know you say laughter is medicine, but it really is. It really is to be in a job where you can just make jokes and make people laugh and make yourself laugh and be affected by something someone else has said. And Dane was brilliant, and it was such a cool close knit of people. It was Sasha Frost, Don Warrington, it was Liz. There was like lots of really amazing actors and funny people, and it did feel like a real close knit group of people, and I loved it.
And speaking of a close like kind of group, you was in Famalam, and I know a ton of people in Famalam, Tommy Mucci and Samson, yourself. Famalam, for me, I absolutely loved it because, one, I felt like for our generation it was, in terms of black sketch shows, the one that's always like looked up to is obviously the real McCoy. But and then there had been others that had come as well, but Famalam, I think, one, because I knew so many people in it. And also it's just the pressures of just like, there's a sketch show for us lot. All right, cool.
For us
lot. But it was so funny. To this day, I still quote stuff. I still watch stuff and see sketches from it and stuff. And it was, some of the stuff was so like, I was like, that's so good, man. What was it like for you being part of that? Because it felt like, from judging from the outside, I could see there was like, as watching it, I was like, there is a ton of amazing actors in here. And doing some of these sketches, because I'm sitting there cracking up. And I'm like, how are you lot being serious in this
We're
sketch?
not. They're using the best takes. They're working around us laughing. They're working around Samson laughing. But it was, honestly, that's still a highlight of my career, doing that. It was special then, and it's still special now. Like, it felt in the moment, I was like, this feels special. And Akemji had assembled such an amazing bunch of performers who brought different things to the table, and it kind of, it was like alchemy. It was really, really special. I loved it. I loved doing it. It was not always easy, but I enjoyed it. And sometimes someone said this, and I think it's such an interesting thing. Like, comedy, like, you could say the same things you're saying in a drama and people won't get offended, but if you do it in a comedy, people can. And so there was a lot of love, but sometimes like, if a sketch went viral and it was like, you're making fun of this, and it's like, no, when we're holding up a mirror to the world that we live in, and so people, there was that. And I'd never been exposed to like virality on a social media, and people, people with their opinions about your work and stuff. So that was an interesting part of it. But yeah.
You then win an award. You win an RTS award for best female comedy performance in Famalam. How was that? Because there's one thing of like being in stuff, but once you start getting the recognition, because I know the feeling of like, oh, it's nice to be nominated. Ooh, I get to wear a nice outfit, and then you win something, and you're like,
gosh,
raw.
Yeah. Yeah.
How did that feel?
That first one, and I think that might have been like the first ever award I'd won for performance, and like I think that was it. I think it was 2020. I think it was. So it was a weird time anyway.
That was like pandemic.
Yes,
time.
It was, and I was in the computer screen, and I think my memory fails me, but I'm not sure if it came before or after the BAFTAs, but I definitely remember that with the BAFTAs, you get nominated, and then, because this is all on screen, when you didn't win, you don't just hear that you didn't win, you just get locked off the Zoom, bro. I'm like, oh, I'm not on, I'm like, hello? Then you're gone. And then nobody comes for you. Nobody says thank you.
Say goodbye or not.
Just like I'm like, I guess I didn't win that. And
that was the 2021.
Yes,
I was in that same Zoom.
Yes, they just locked you off.
Because I won that year as well, didn't it?
No, I lost that year.
Did you lose that year?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. With the BAFTA, I lost. So the RTS, I was like, ready to get, you know, I was okay, like, whatever, it's fine, ready to just sort of smile. And then Jonathan Ross called my name, and I was just like, I just remember going, oh my, so that was the first thing I'd won, and I, off the back of a performance loss with BAFTA, they were hard.
They locked people up. Cause I was in my house, and I remember I had some shorts on, and I put a shirt on because I thought if I do win, I don't want to be not in a t-shirt. But I was like, I never forget that when everyone was on Zoom, and I just remembered to seeing bare familiar face. I'm like, right, there's Graham Norton, there's Jodie Coleman. I'm looking at their houses, isn't it? Trying to look at the background of their houses. I'm like, Rob, people got some nice cribs, boy. Yeah. So it's like, I think I was up first, and we done a little rehearsal. They said, this is what will happen. Boom. When they said, brother, I said, I blinked. Everyone was locked off, you know. Yes. I said, rotted. These men are on the clock.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. But you won a BAFTA then.
Yes. So, because I got nominated for 2, and I lost the performance award.
Because this is kind of like where we are now in your career in some ways now. Because I feel like since like the BAFTA, your rise has been like...
Yeah, it in some ways it feels quick, but in other ways I feel like I've been out here in these streets, like
of course,
doing bits and being a jobbing actor. So I don't know, but I know what you mean. Like in terms of the period between sort of Famalam and now, although actually Famalam was even a while ago. Time is speeding up, but it did that when the recognition came, it did come like, oh wow, okay, oh you okay, great.
What was it like when winning that BAFTA?
The BAFTA the first time, I remember because I'd lost. I found out I'd lost, and I went and I took off my dress and I went to go and put on my trousers. I ordered some pizza, and I was like, whatever, I'm done. Like it was lovely. Yeah. And then it went live because we were I think we'd done that bit ahead, and then we watched the rest of it live, and it was for a short program. It was for a short that I'd made, and they did that bit at the end. Oh, and all these other people won as well, and they sort of listed, So it was like, and this one, and so I was eating my pizza, and we had to make pre-acceptance speeches. Okay. So I did we wrote a sketch for it and did a sketch, and they showed a clip of the sketch, and I just remember pizza. I remember screaming. I didn't know whose voice it was, and pizza was all over the floor, and I was in my pajamas, and I was calling my cousin, I won! So that one was because I actually remember after losing and being locked off that court, I was like, it's done. I'm not going to win anything. It's fine. It's fine.
It's like that though. I know what you mean when sometimes you're like, you know what? Let me just chill out now, innit? I can relax.
Yeah, because it's a lot.
It's
from
a
nomination.
Lot,
and the thing that's frustrating, because I'm sure you have been on the panel for these things.
I've never done the panel.
You've never done the thing?
No. I find it hard to judge my peers because it's like, if I've got to judge something that's so far away, like news or something like this,
and they do that.
Yeah,
so it's like you're not necessarily always being asked to do because I remember doing something like entertainment or comedy entertainment or something like that, and they've already made the decision. So when you've been nominated, the panel, like the winner's already been, that decision's been made.
It's done. Everyone knows, apart from you.
Exactly. So
listen.
So the slog of being nominated and then months of to the award and clothes and whatever is a lot.
Of course. Mm-hmm.
And even though it's a joy and it's really great, it actually does take a little bit of a mental toll, because it's like all you can sort of think about and do and all that. And then this one moment, this 1 second in your life, it determines. And then it's sort of over. Yeah. It's a really weird build-up to it being over, especially when you lose. It's like, oh my God. So there is a kind of relief when it's done.
Do you know, I feel like when you lose, sometimes it's like you can be in a category and you're like, I know this person's winning this.
Yeah.
I think the last time I went, I was in a category and I think Claudia Winkleman was in it for Traitors. That show was blowing up at the time. So for me, I spent that day like, it's good to be here. Let me just enjoy the vibes, do all the interviews. That is definitely, like, I would have been shocked if I had won that. Because I was like, Traitors is a bad boy program.
Yeah.
Claudia Winkleman's one of the nicest people as well. And I was like, nah, man, that's her time. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, but like, I think when I went for the first time, 2019, the Big Nasty show was up. And that was my first time just going to any award show. So I'm like, nah, bruv, we should win, bruv. It's me, Nasty, it's for the culture. What do you mean? And then they brought the camera. The camera.
Oh, the camera.
Listen, the camera was in my face. So I was like, what? Rah.
That must mean.
And then giving out the award, I think it was David Schwimmer. He was previously on the Big Nasty show. So I'm putting all the dots together. I said, what? The camera's there? David Schwimmer is giving out I was like, all right, Vaseline. And the winner is...
Not you!
A League of Their Own. I said, blood, fire. But now I got to clap. Listen. I said, yo, why they got the camera here? The camera's there for long.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So what was it like that time when you won now? When you go, you're at the award show now.
That one was crazy because we'd done one the next year. I got nominated the next year and it was a bit like we were in the war, but it was like distancing everyone. So it was like half the audience. But then...
So what year is this? 2021?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah. 2021. 2021, yes.
2021.
Yeah.
So I think there was... And then the one that I won last year... Was that last year? Because... years and days are all
2024.
Yes, that was last year.
Yeah.
So that one
is that we had like the kind of, is it like a bow tie or a tux?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bad boy outfit. I see it. Come on, what's going on?
I was like, I'm in a suit era. I was feeling that whole season. I was like, I'm wearing suits. I don't care. I'm the only woman amongst everyone because everyone with Black Ops is all sort of. I'm the only woman here. I want to just rep like with the dudes and wear suits like they get to. But
2021.
So they brought that camera. 2021. I kind of didn't think I was going to win, so it wasn't. But it's still a disappointment. You feel it. You feel the disappointment of it.
Yeah.
And this is the second time now, so I'm like, oh God, stop bringing me out here. I was getting tired. But it was nice to be outside. And I got to wear a frock because we were all stuck inside. And then this one, I was like, bruh, like honestly. It's okay. You don't need to keep nominating me because I'm tired. Actually, it's expensive to keep buying, getting outfits done and stuff. Really happy and nominated, but flipping heck. And then they did that thing with the camera. But I'm well versed now at losing, so I'm just like
you practice your
yeah. And I'm like, you know what? It's a lot of, and we'd had a good season that season of Black Ops was winning a lot of things, and I'd won an RTS already, and I felt vindicated and blessed, and I was like, I've had the appreciation, so I'm happy. And it was Hamid's first nomination, so I'm like, I'm here with my bro, he's sitting in front of me, like it's feels, and it was like BAFTA proper, because there was no social distances. It's like it was over 1,000 people in that place, I think.
Royal Festival Hall, innit?
It was so the vibe was, and the walk from where we were sitting down the steps, I was like, I said they put us at least near the front if we won. Like
you start doing that.
I'd be like, why would you put us all the way at the back if we're gonna win? Like, you know?
Yes, they do that still. They done that where I think the first time we was like, oh, we're near the stairs. We're near the stairs near the middle. And I remember in front of us was Phoebe, what is it?
Wellerbridge.
Wellerbridge? Yeah, she was in front of us. So I was like, Robert, look who we're with. Hello, you're right. What we saying?
Well, she always wins, so
yeah. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna be in the front. Like, I've got my thing there. She's got her thing there. So you know, like when they do the cutscenes, you see me holding the BAFTA. Listen, we didn't win. I said,
I'm done.
Is a scam. Is a scam. What was it like last year, though, man?
But winning, I remember I actually looked back at it, and I think I went numb. I went a bit numb because I looked vexed. Like when I win, I go, yeah. And I think when I got down and I heard the screams back, that's when I woke up. And it was a really, really beautiful moment. It was such a beautiful moment, but I think there was a moment of literal shock, and then you do the backstage award tour, the winners tour, where you're going into this room and they're asking interview and
all the press is there. Then you got to do a little photo shoot.
All of that, and I was like, so this is what they've been keeping from me. That's what's been so every time when I've been losing, they're doing all that. I didn't know.
And random people just come up to you as well when you hold it.
When you're holding it.
Oh my God! Congratulations! Yeah. You're like, who's that? Who's that? And someone will say, yeah, that's the person that owns that. Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Let's
I
remember
talk.
you. Yeah.
Jennifer. It's like, yeah, great. I remember we're going to dinner after the thing, and the security guy goes, do you have your invite? And someone went, that's our invite, man.
The BAFTA, innit? Allow me, bro. You don't see this.
I was like,
because when you went, did they have the plaques already there? Sometimes they'd send them out afterwards.
Yeah, for the COVID times, they'd done it already. I think for whatever reason.
Yeah,
but this last one, I had to wait for that.
You had to wait a couple months.
To get that thing in the post. Where's the
please, thing? I need complete.
I need it.
The Infinity Stone. Just give it to me, man.
And I was a bit annoyed because I didn't want to do it myself because I'm not good.
Yes, yeah.
Wonky.
When it's a bit off and someone comes there, right, your thing's a bit...
like, why is
your thing like this?
Why is it But...
So, like, you've gone on to... So what, that's 3 BAFTAs now, isn't it? Is that 3?
That's 2 BAFTAs.
That's 2 BAFTAs.
I'm chasing you, but not quite...
No, listen, man. Listen, I'm not here to compete, man.
I am. I want IKEA to give me my own shelf for my BAFTAs. That's what I want, Mo. Okay? What are you talking about? What are you saying? Be like, yo, can I? How many? 2? Get out of here, man.
I can't lie. I was being mad cheeky, you know. I was like, yo, hey, kid. They got back to me. I got a whole shelf in my kitchen. A little cabinet, boy.
I'm like,
oh, that's so funny, man. I forgot. I didn't know anyone knew that.
Oh, please.
I knew they knew it. But then obviously, like where you are in your middle now, because I was saying this to Kenji, I came to the press night, the press screening of Black Ops. And I thought it was amazing, man. I really did. I really enjoyed it. And I feel like it's so important for us to support each other in those moments where you got like the press in the room and like, because they want to hear what we have to say when there's a Q&A and stuff and whatnot. But also like your performance in it, like as a comedy piece, which was, I sat there and I was like, oh, this is, I was like, hey, run the other episodes, man. So what was it for you, like being in, because I know, like, you know, you've been in other things as well, but obviously when you're in a UK drama, a UK comedy drama, off the back of something like Famalam, which is again back on the BBC as well. How was that working with Akenji again?
If he'll have me, I'll work for him forever. Like I'll work with him forever. He's I love working with him. And now we've got a sort of shorthand where like I can cuss him and he can cuss me. You know, when it's like you can, that kind of relationship where it's just actually just really real, and we can just bypass the politeness and just go like, you know, he'll be like, baby, can you trust me on this? Okay, you know, or I'll be like, hey, why, where are you? Like, I need you, like, you know.
But you play the comedy so good. You play it, it's so funny. It's so authentic. Do you know what I mean? When you play the characters, you're like, I believe this character.
Like with sketch, it's like you have 2-3 minutes to tell a whole story, and so doesn't always leave enough time unless you're doing these recurring characters like the aunties to get into the fun of them. But it is usually a lot more surface level with comedy, but it's great to do narrative things where I actually get to act and go, oh no, I want, this is who she is, this is who Dom is, and she's a little bit petulant but she's really smart, and I get to do that side of it and then do the comedy. And sometimes the comedy is quite broad and quite silly and I'm falling over and we're doing really dumb stuff. But then sometimes it gets a bit serious. We're shooting we've shot the second series now, and we're editing, and some of it is like there's some real emotional heft in it. And so it's lovely to play all that, because that's what I want to do as an actor. I want to be able to do it all. I want to be able to, you know, do the funny and do the fun and do the silly, and then do things that feel really grounded and feel weighty. And and so it's nice to be able to do that kind of stuff.
But I feel like, you know, there's some of the things you know use in the Amazon series, A League of Their Own, which is, you must get it a lot, but it's obviously it's so different from the Sky one. I remember you saying that in your acceptance speech as well. You know, which is about an American baseball team during the Second World War. Going on things like Amazon, which is, you know, you're on Amazon on a series that's, because the one thing I always say about being able to work across the side of, you know, in America or wherever it is, or like the way that they promote things is a different level.
It's a different level.
Where you're on a billboard and
when you walk down there and you're like, oh my, that's my 100-foot face. That's mad.
Yeah. How do you find it over there when you're over there? Because you know what it's like when you're there's because I always say there's America and Hollywood, two different places where you can go around America and, you know, someone's like, hey man, I've seen you in it. But what's it like for you when you're in LA as a Black Brit? Because tons of Black Brits are doing so well out there. But when you're in something and you featured and you got to do the meetings, how does that start to change your life in some ways?
You know, I kind of just have decided that I'm going to just go do the work and come home, because I think it's really easy to get swept into even the British hype of it, because you go there and you'll see the usual suspects. There's like you there are Brits out there, right? You go to Soho House and you can't go up the lift without hearing some Brit, obnoxious Brit. It's like, where the obnoxious Brits go, oh my God! Like that, how we feel about them when they're out here, just loud.
If you need to find Brits, just go downtown Soho House, or just go to that one in West Hollywood.
Yes,
you will see someone. Yeah.
So I kind of. So and that stuff is fun and it's great, and it's actually really nice to connect with Black British people when you're out there, because
it's very lonely, man.
It's a lonely city. It's a really lonely city.
I agree.
And there's a weird otherness that I didn't think I knew existed until, which is being a Black Brit with amongst Black Americans, because your blackness isn't viewed. You're not viewed as the same. I'm like, not all the time, but there's a lot of the time when you get a sense of, oh, you don't see my experience and your experience in the same light, you know. And so that otherness is interesting. When I'm on set, sometimes I just stop speaking with a UK accent and I just keep it American, because one, the whole, oh, you're British, can get a little bit tiring. And it makes me feel really like, oh, I'm different. And so I just, sometimes when I was on set, I'll just speak like everyone else, and they'll forget. And then when we say cut, and they're like, oh God, I forgot you were, because it's so weird for them still to hear a Black person with this voice. So they really notice it. And so interesting. But I love LA. I put on at least 2 stone every time I go out there, so I can't ever stay out there too long.
Listen, man, the vibes are vibulating out there.
The vibe are vibulating. There's nowhere to walk unless you're a hiker, and I'm not a hiker. London, you just walk as part of your day to day.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm driving everywhere, and I'm eating food filled with goodness knows what, and so I have to treat it like, no, go out, work, and come home. Because if you start, for me, I think if I would just fall into the excess of it all.
Yeah.
And you'd have to like wheel me back out. Like, you know, my vice is not drugs, it is food. Yeah. So you'd have to wheel me back on. I had to buy 2 seats for the plane.
Do you know what I always find whenever I'm out there is like meetings can be lunch. So, you know, here it's like, cool, a lunch is a lunch and that's a catch up, and a meeting's a meeting, whereas they can combine the two, and it's an hour. Like, you've got
3 of those in a day,
3, 4, 5, and you're like, yeah, so we're gonna go there. Okay, great. And it's like an hour, someone's like, okay, great, well, I've got to run. It's been great. Let's catch up. And you're like, brother, I just got all this food, bro. I mean, bro, brother, we need to finish some of this.
The food.
But he's gonna leave the food there. It's okay. I've got the bill. Yeah. And you're like, okay, cool. And then you got to figure out, okay, I need to get to Burbank. How do I get? It's like pretty equivalent to anyone listening. It's the equivalent of being like, I'm in Central. I now need to go to Chigwell, Essex. I gotta go Chigwell for a meeting, and I need to be there 45 minutes ago. And they don't ramp. Like, you get there, and it's like, yeah, so you're 30 minutes late, but we can slot you in for 20 minutes. And you're like, what? I'm sorry, but I got stuck in traffic.
Because there's always traffic.
Oh man, what's it like for you when you're out there?
I do really love it. I do what they call the water bottle tour, where you go, tour. You just sort of going in the car, and I get hot if I'm 1 minute late to a thing. Like, I'm like, that's why I came to you, and I was like, I was here, I was in the foyer, I was waiting, I don't like being late, so I end up showing up an hour early to all my meetings because I'm just and I'll just hang out in the street and then go in. So that's a lot. Traffic is insane, but I love driving in America.
That's great, isn't it?
I love they have big roads.
Big roads. You can go quick.
And then you're just driving, and there's a mountain, and there's so that is, and people think I'm weird, but I love driving out there. Like, I don't get bored of it. I really love it.
Never get bored of it because it's sunny. They have valet everywhere.
They have valet.
So when you get to a meeting, when you get to a meeting, you could just leave. Hey, what's up, man? Cool. Can I get your car? Can I get your name? Cool. And then you come back. Oh, that's my car. Beep. The car's there. On to the next one, and you're like, bro, this is great. I wish it was like this in the UK.
But by the same token, I hate walking because it is not set up for walking. It is set up for cars. Like, there'll be a time where you'll be walking on the pavement, and then the pavement stops, and then there's just motorway, and you're just
you know what's mad out there is, like, when you cross the road, you actually have to wait for the traffic because the road is so big. You're like, this is long, boy. It's like, been there for like 3 minutes.
And you can't jaywalk out there. It's illegal. They'll arrest you.
So would you ever live out there if the opportunity was to come towards you?
I never say never, but right now how I feel about it is, I used to think, oh, I'm going to go to America and live there, and that's going to be the dream. But now I've started to do it. I've gone, no, it's enough for me to go out there, work, enjoy my time, enjoy the people. I've made friends and people that I actually like, and so that makes things a bit less lonely. But I always want to come home. There's always a period in any job where I'm feeling that itch to get out of it and there's something. I don't know what it is about the rain and the concrete that makes me feel real. Yeah. Like, after a while, I start feeling like it's Disneyland or something. I don't want to say artificial because it's a real place, but there's just something. There's no weather. Yeah. It's sunny. Always sunny or a bit.
It's always
nothing.
Sunny. And there's always clear skies.
It's all smoggy, you know.
Yeah. If you get towards the airport sides,
So there's a point where maybe the London in me just is crying out for grey, and I don't know, but there is always a point where I have to get home.
Especially fresh air, though. I think I've realised of being out there for quite a while that I come home and I go, oh, that's some cold, fresh air, man. It's hard to describe when you've been out there, but you're like, that's just cold, fresh air and grass. Real wet grass on the floor.
I feel like they probably like painted their grass on. It's just like spray painted. And
you're like, right, look at this wet grass with crisp mud.
Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't seen mud out there. It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
So like where you are now in terms of the space you're now in as an actor, and you've kind of been able to delve into, you know, getting your start from like, not like getting your start, but being on our screens in Sunny D and having those comedy roles in like Famalam, now Black Ops and Sunny D. Is there a pressure that you don't want to feel like you're going to be typecast because the roles are always funny as well? Is there like that pressure? Because obviously, you know, once you start winning things in that space, people are like, oh, we've got an idea for you.
People love to put you in a box.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
That's what you do now.
Yeah, you can be like the funny black woman in this thing. So does that pressure kind of come to you in some ways where you're like, oh, does it change the way that you start looking at the opportunities for yourself as well?
Yeah, I mean, I've always felt like I can't be one thing. Like I more than even an actor, I'm a storyteller. Let me tell stories. Let me tell them how I feel moved to in the moment. I don't want to be, oh, you're just the funny person, because actually the funny thing feels really recent to me. Like comedy feels like a really new part and a thing that I've learned about in a much later. I you know, it was AK was the first person who said you should write on Famalam, and I said I don't write comedy, and he said I think you do, and then I started to write sketches and felt like, oh wow, there's a rhythm and that was in me that I understood, and it was interesting, and I run with that. But I love drama, I love dark stuff, I love genre, I love sci-fi. I want to do it all. I love horror, so I'm like, yeah, don't sleep on me and think I'm just this one thing. I don't know if it's a pressure, but it's definitely a thing in my mind going, oh no, you're not gonna box me in. Yeah. No. So so I am always acutely aware, because I know this business. That's just it's just how it works, isn't it? Because
I think that's the hardest thing for any creative, is where if you start getting applauded in things that you're doing, and then you can easily get pigeonholed in, like, because look, we all have to pay the bills in some way, and there are some opportunities where you're like, okay, that's a good opportunity. I'm also able to, I have to be conscious of what I'm also saying no to, because I've still got bills to pay, and this is a good opportunity. If I would have looked at this maybe 3 years ago, I would have jumped at the chance. But where I am in my career, is that the right thing to do as well? And that must be so hard. I always look at actors and like, that must be so hard when you, like you're saying, you want to live and you got to work, but you're like, I don't know if this is the thing though.
Yeah.
You know, that must be very challenging for you.
I mean, for me, there's always this thing in the back of my mind going, you can't be broke again. You can't be broke again. Like that, there's that. And then there's a part going, well, you can actually, because you did it. And so you know how to be broke, and you know. So I think if you take once that fear is taken off of, actually remember, you always used to say you're not driven by the money, you're driven by the creativity and the art, and then they start giving you a little bit more money to do something, and then a little bit more, and then you're like, maybe I am. And I think it's just for me having that conversation with myself, going, actually no, you're here for this. Yes, you need to eat and you need to think strategically about how you're going to pay your bills, but I when it's first and foremost about the creative stuff and what makes me happy and what drives me emotionally and spiritually and creatively, then I don't have a problem. When I start kind of getting that little niggly voice, you can't be broke, then I think it starts being like, okay, well let's do this, and let's. So for me, I'm just chasing good stories. That's it. And I think if I am true to that, I think I'll be okay. But it is a little, fight with a little thing at the back of my head trying to say, eat.
Yeah.
Eat good food.
Just order it now. You'll get it later. And you're like, I don't need it. You do, trust me, bro. You do, man. So like in terms of your end where you're at now, well, not so much where you're at now, sorry, but like in terms of your end, do you look...
Did you say in terms of your end where you're at now?
No. What I meant to say...
Beginning, middle, end.
What I meant to say...
It's quite ominous now, this time. Flipping heck.
What I meant to say, when you look at your end now,
mm-hmm.
like, do you start picturing... Because you have, your own drama company, do you start looking at ways of how you want to start shaping, like, your legacy towards those things as an actor? Because I see a lot of actors that have their own drama companies, and now in the business, I understand that, where, it's a production company, but a drama company, and you're saying now how you do it for the love, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
You do it for the love. There is a part where you do it for the money to pay the bills, but... Is your long-term love like helping the next generation?
Yeah, I've always been about building up other artists. Like, that actually feels like a big part of my purpose. It's just that's not as visible as the stuff I do in terms of being on screen or performing. But for me, like, I have to nurture talent. I'm obsessed with other and community and creating things with other people. And so for me, if I'm building a legacy of anything, I think it's going to be in that. I want to create spaces for artists who don't normally get their stories told. I want to be able to be in a space where I can help make that happen. I want to be in a space where we're also giving people skills and opportunities behind the camera, because, like, it's all great us being visible, but, like, it's actually you when you're in it and you're in those meetings and you start seeing the people who have a decision over your work and over what you when you start seeing they're not necessarily looking, you start going, we need more people in the rooms like that. And so that's a thing that really excites me. It's about not just opening doors, but like breaking them down and reconfiguring them in a different image and having a massive effect on the industry. So I think to an extent there are parts of that I'm doing, but I want to be able to do that in a much more unapologetic way through my through arts companies and through my my company. That excites me.
Yeah, I feel like the way that you collaborate with people has been so cool to witness on screen, and I can't imagine what that's like. Behind closed doors, we don't get to see the writers' rooms and stuff, but that just to see how you collaborate with people on screen, it's very cool to watch. You're a very, very good actress, and I just believe that, like, I don't know, like, as I was saying, is like that kind of, you're in that trajectory where you're in stuff and you're winning stuff. And I feel like there's a glass, we're all in this, whatever career, we're all in this kind of glass ceiling, but it's whether we want to let that affect us in some ways, where we're like, cool, there's a glass ceiling, so I can only go this far. So, but also already hearing how you're like, I like going to LA, but I like coming home. And it can be very easy to go where the grass is greener, but knowing that grass is only greener because it's mowed a different way. And I kind of like that fresh grass back home that's got the mud in it. And it's like you're saying, to really plant and grow out long term. And
take some of that stuff that they're using for their grass to maybe help our own as well out here. Because I do think that we've got a lot to learn from what they do and the hustle mentality. I know people aren't really on hustling anymore. I think hustling, that word has become a little bit of a dirty word. I will always be a hustler. And so that mentality of people just making their own way and is only something that's new. We're only just tapping into that in the UK and going, oh, that's the thing, we're allowed to do that. And so there is stuff to learn. I think there's stuff they can learn from us too. But so so it's actually beautiful that I get to go and work there and see, things that they do and on the level that they're doing it at, and kind of hopefully nick some of that and make my own thing that feels like a bit of everywhere that I've been.
What's your impossible dream that you want to make your reality?
I want to create an art space that never closes, like a massive art space that there is space for people to make theatre. You can go there, you can watch the next round of plays that people are making, and then round the back there is a place like this where you could record your podcasts and your music, and then there's space where there are incubator offices where creatives are able to get 3-year scholarships where they don't have no money. They can just come have this office and build up for 3 years with no bills to pay, and rehearsal space and studio space for dancers, this all-encompassing art space, and it never closes. So you can go at whatever time and have a little rehearsal or have a thing, or and it be this. And then there's round the back there's a area where you can actually rent studio space and things and stay there for a time as well. I really want a safe space for artists to be able to work, to collaborate, to have community. That is my big dream. Yeah.
Oscar?
Oh yeah, that tune. That was good. yeah. And then the Oscar.
He said, "Hey, hold on. Chop rice.
Yeah. Let's get a little off that. Let's get the Higots in there. I call it a bigot, right? So we've got the bigot. So yeah.
I really see it happening for you. I see the fruits of your labor really coming to fruition, because just how I've seen how you are, just your character, but just most importantly, like what you've been able to achieve on screen, behind the screen, the people you work with, like Kenji and Samson. Like, again, it's like when you see how their careers are flourishing, and like yourselves, that's why you see similar people work with each other and the same outcomes are happening. Do you know what I mean? And it's been a pleasure, man. It's been a pleasure to have you. I know you've done my show as well. It was on Channel 4 as well and stuff.
I was so nervous doing that show. I was like, it's Ronan Keating. It's Mo Gilligan and Ronan Keating. That was great.
I like Ronan. He's proper mad then, you know.
He is.
He's really about this life, man. But it's been a pleasure, man, to have you on the pod.
Thank you so much.
This has been your beginning, middle and end. Thank you very much. Big ups, man. Big ups. Hey, what's up? Thank you so much for listening to the podcast today. Now, a lot goes into making each episode. I know you hear my voice, but there's a team behind the scenes who help make it. And if you did enjoy it, I'd really, really appreciate it if you could show the love to them by giving us 5 stars. And if you also have the time, please leave us a review. It's always appreciated, and we love reading the comments. And of course, we want to keep making it better. Thank you for listening, and have a great day. Peace.